I'll try to hold the phone while I do this, but the point here was to mark the top of each fret where it's been flattened by filing. They were all flattened this way. Okay, all to the same level. And you can tell that by the disappearance of the ink that's on the top of the frets. So what we wanted to do now is get rid of that ink or rounding the top of the fret by getting rid of that ink. So I've done one here. And that's the thickness of the line you want, actually, preferably a little thinner. I'm using a piece of wood here with some 80 grit sandpaper. But now we'll do this next fret here. If I can do it and hold the camera at the same time. So you're watching that line diminish in thickness, hopefully. And you're coming up toward the top of the fret to round it and produce that thin line. When you have that line as thin as you can get it, then that's your crown. That's going to be the crown of the fret. I don't dare go any thinner than that. But that will be the crown. And you're going to simply polish that with increasing grits of sandpaper, starting from probably, actually pretty high, 600 grit sandpaper, and then 1,000 grit sandpaper. And then the last step would be steel wool, or the synthetic steel wool, which I prefer, actually, because I can't find it. That's why I prefer it. Okay. This is it here. Synthetic steel wool. It's these 3M pads here, abrasive pads. This is equal to quadruple zero steel wool, believe it or not. And that's what I use. And you'll get a mirror shine on the fret when you're done. Wipe it with a paper towel as a buff. So we'll pause here. I'm going to try a fret crowning tool on one fret first. And that, supposedly, you don't need to come up from the side toward the top. You just run it across vertically like this, and that is supposed to crown your fret where that black line is. I've never used one before, so I'm not sure about this. Okay, the line's disappearing on one side. So you want to keep going. Just till that line disappears. When it does disappear, you know you've got an even or a yeah, right. you know where I'm getting at here. You've got a nice round ogive shape on the fret, across the fret. So the other way to do this is with sandpaper, approaching from the sides. See, this has a built-in curve on both sides of it. So it shapes the top of the fret for you. This is a tough one. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I think that did it. So that is what you're going to polish with 800 and 1,000 grit, or yeah, I guess 800 and 1,000 grit, and then quadruple steel wool, which I guess I'll try right here. Why not? Hang on. Actually, I think, as I remember, it was an even lower grit that you started with on this. But I'm going to try 1,000 grit here. And by using the higher grit, 1,000, you'll maintain your fret tops all in the same plane, local plane. So hopefully that does it. After this would be the number 4 steel wool or equivalent. So I'll get that out. Hang on. Help, help, I can't see. Okay, and then this would be the last step, according to the instructions. And well, okay, I suspected this might happen. That's not what I would call a mirror shine. It might be, I remember why it's not. I'm supposed to start with a lower grade sandpaper to remove some of these lines. I think that was my mistake. So, hang on. Okay, I found it. This is 400 grit sandpaper. Then 1,000. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking back to my Army days and my boots and shoe polish. And I could never get my boots to a high shine. Just didn't work. Everybody else did. Not everybody else, but most people seem to. Okay, that's pretty much, that is getting better. So I should have started with that first, I guess. That I think it's 320, 340 sandpaper. And then this here, yeah, that's a mirror shine, I think, I'd say. Well, it is definitely smooth, and that's the whole point. So I think that's it. Now let me see if I can remember these steps and finish this neck.